the big idea?
Success. What do you guys think about it? All right, let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Claudia.
I'm Sunny,
I'm Deshik.
I'm Rude.
and we're on the podcast, What's the Big Idea? Today we're talking about the meaning of success and what it means to us, especially when there are a lot of different takes about it. There's diversity of thought, and ideas all about interdisciplinary thinking. So, yeah, let's start it off. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think success is very much like okay, as you said before, it's a very personal thing, but I think the common thread behind it is you just have to find like some sort of happiness. I mean, at least like that's what I've gotten now from like just years of going through schooling. Like success isn't about like fame or wealth. It's really just like, okay, what makes you happy, and then finally just pursue that. Because if you can't do that, then I don't think you're successful.
Exactly.
So what makes you happy?
Well, I'm still discovering that.
It's like a lifelong process.
I'm a depressed person. I just keep moving. So yeah.
And like I agree, I think success is very subjective. So it's like in the eye of the beholder. My version of success isn't the same as yours.
Mhm.
So
What's your version of success?
I would say maybe just trying to fulfill like my potential, doing the most I can as a person and like bettering myself. So I feel like that's success to me.
Mhm. Yeah, I think going off on that, success is probably for me doing something different in the world, doing something that helps others. At IDEA, we're doing a lot of social impact businesses thinking, right? All of the businesses are meant to solve one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, right? So in that sense, I think for me, success is like, have we made a difference? Have we moved the needle on something that's important to help others? Because there's only so much that wealth can do. The current definition of success, I think, in our society is wealth, getting the most amount of wealth you can, or the most amount of fame, even if it could be infamy, right? But at the same time, it's like, there has to be more to success than fame or money. So I agree with that, what Deshik said.
Well, if you're trying to change the world and you actually succeed at doing that, you do something different. What follows will be fame and wealth, because it ties in. It's intertwined.
Right.
Society rewards you for what you do.
So is the success after that not originally guided? Let's say like a startup founder thinks of a problem to solve. They solve the problem. They make a lot of money. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's about intent, because if you're creating a company to solve a problem because you want to help people, in this time, or you want to help people in general, that's good intent.
Yeah.
If you're just going for the fame, like, you might get there and you might like help people, sure, but the intent behind it is just like, I just want to be famous, I want to be rich. You can do that like any number of ways. You have to be, behind it 100%. You have to be behind that idea. And
Yeah.
it's hard to really notice.
That's really what you do after like, let's say you do solve a certain problem and you gain wealth and gain fame.
What's an example you have? I guess we can start on that. If you don't have an example, you can just talk
like
about it.
what matters is what you do after with
Right.
that fame and with that wealth.
Do you use it in an honorable way? Just keep solving problems.
Reinvest back into
Or do you
your
keep that
problems.
money and just fall into FOMO and like the status quo, right? Yeah. What are so going back to happiness, right?
Yeah.
There's a study out there that's cited a lot in positive psychology that cites that 75 to 100K is like the limit at which you need to get happy. So do you think that if you reach that and you have success, is that enough in life? Well,
No.
what do you think
Are
about
you
that?
saying when somebody reaches the income of 75 to 100K?
Are they successful? Are they happy?
No
Definitely
way.
not,
No
because
way.
there are ways that you can reach that income and be in a situation that is not bringing you happiness at all. So I know personally, like my father definitely makes over 100K, but he works 24/7. There's no way he's able to like be like, wow, like I'm like truly happy right now. This is great. I'm making a lot of money. Because like the money isn't tied to the happiness, essentially. If what you're doing to get all that money isn't making you happy, then like
Is that like investment banking where they work like 120 hours a week? but
Yes,
not making a lot of
exactly
well, they're making
like
a lot
that.
of money but not happy.
Also, but then it depends on the person, right?
It
Because
does depend on the person.
different people have different motivating factors.
We're going back to that thing we talked about, right?
Exactly.
Which is success means differently for
Subjectivity.
everything. Yeah. So is success objective or?
Some people have terminal views of success.
Oh.
They have a means to an end, and it doesn't matter what those means are. If you reach that end, you are successful and you are happy. And then others have it the other way around, the opposite.
Yeah. So what can we tell our viewers about like how to approach success in a meaningful way?
I mean, I think it takes a while over time to fully achieve it. I don't think there's gonna be a quick like fix to like get that success. Like no, like even if I like won the lottery instantly, I'm gonna be very happy, right? But I'm not gonna be successful just because I have that cash. I'm not gonna be successful if I, achieve my dream job or something like that. It's a life. I said before, it's a lifelong journey to get that sense of fulfillment, right? To truly be happy, to truly be successful, and you'll really only realize it at the very end.
Yeah, and I think
look
it's
back.
important that you don't like you try to separate yourself from what you think you're doing to be successful compared to like other people's views of what's successful. Not like, okay, I'm gonna go out, get this good career, make a lot of money because that's what it means to be successful. That might not bring you happiness because if it doesn't bring you happiness, then you're not being successful.
It's certainly part of happiness. I think definitely, go for your dream jobs, people. Like that's go for jobs that you can get
At
like
the
a lot of
same
money.
time, even though it is a lifelong journey, you may not ever achieve your definition of success.
Yeah.
Because success, you can define success as these little victories in the little goals that you make along your journey throughout time. But if you're a person that always looks for more and always looks for better, always looks to improve yourself, like your definition of success, it might not be achievable because that bar raises each and every time you hit another victory.
Well, then wouldn't your definition of success, like I guess,
Oh, so you're talking about the hedonistic treadmill, where you win a victory
Exactly.
and then you stay on it, and then you have another victory and then you get used to it.
Yeah.
That's what I view success. That it's not one definite thing. That it's gonna be momentarily.
Is it
So
a journey?
It's a journey basically, and then along the journey you have these little check marks that are like successes, and like you kind of move up in level through life. So like if you pass one checkpoint, you think that you were successful at something. That doesn't mean okay, like now I stop. Like I'm fulfilled. This is great.
Well, the
like, you
success
keep
itself
searching
then
for
would
more.
be the effort, right? The fact that I'm able to put 100% of what I want to do
Into your
into
passions.
my passion.
It's the
that's
effort of fulfilling
Like,
the potential.
if I put less than that in my, somehow like throughout my life, right? If I put less than 100%, then I'm not successful because I'm not moving as efficiently as possible to where I want to be.
So your definition of success
Well,
is the journey?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
the journey, but like how active you are in that journey. If you're
Exactly.
a passive
How
But then
viewer,
what if you can achieve your goals without even putting like 50% of your work in?
You won't
then
feel
it's not
fulfilled.
success.
You
It's
won't
not
feel
self-fulfillment.
But you did reach your goal, so
So-
you technically are successful.
Well, the goal
Yeah.
isn't success. It should be the fulfillment you get from that.
That's happiness.
But that happiness is very much like,
Is success
It's tied to
different from...
this.
Okay, so then
Is
there's a
success-
question. Is success different from happiness?
I don't think so. I mean,
Do you think
I think
happiness is the ultimate success?
I think
No,
it-
I think it is different because somebody could achieve something, but it doesn't make them happy. Like, this goes for a lot of people who go to college and get a degree. They achieved a degree, but they're not happy with their degree. Or they're not happy with
Yeah.
the career that they entered in.
I mean, even like today in the career market, like almost 80% of people, I mean, there's varying statistics. Some say 60, some say 80, but like, up to 80% of people don't like their job. So, yeah, I think I agree with that. Now, I think we can connect it to IDEA too. What is IDEA doing different? That is like, why did we all join IDEA? And how does that fit in with success?
Well, the idea is design thinking, which
Mhm.
is, to look at, who you're marketing to, who you're building a product for.
Mhm.
And that very much ties to what we were talking about success and you wanted to help as many people as possible, right?
So then it's
with your idea.
human-centered design thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you're going, for money, there are numerous other options, but IDEA is designed for people who want to develop, products and innovations that are for people, for bettering everyone else.
Yeah, so back to that social impact, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you join IDEA? or what do you think about idea that fits in with your meaning of success? Or you can answer that too.
I'll let him go first.
Yeah.
I think I joined IDEA because I like the idea. I like the idea of innovating. I like the idea of innovating. Pushing every like tech boundary, or actually any boundary possible, when it's regards to how we live life. So products that we already have, services that we already have, and how we can make it better. But I'm not as philanthropic as you at least, where it's like about helping people, but it's more about furthering innovation.
Okay. So, I mean, not everyone has to be like, and I don't think everyone is fully philanthropic because humans are, in my opinion,
inherently self-centered.
inherently selfish. But I think
it's
being productively selfish is good.
Productively selfish.
Right?
As long as you're not
I like
consumed
that.
by it, I think you're fine. Right?
Follow that airplane thing where it's like help yourself before you help others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like social impact business came about because there was a need that nonprofits were not filling, which is it was not self-sustaining. You need to compensate people for their work. People can't work for free.
Yeah.
But at the same time, reinvesting money back into a business that's solving a social problem is really good. And that's why I feel like, capitalism has grown so much. But then a lot of society has fell into the notion that money itself is success. But yeah, I agree with all of your points. But where do you see, this is one question I have, is where do you see innovations moving forward in the future? How does that fit in with success?
Well, I think our standards of success are going to keep changing along with our developing economy and innovations. So as new things grow, like new technologies start,
like the metaverse.
Yeah.
Our definition of success is basically just going to change. So right now, I think say hypothetically that somebody made some sort of AI that could interact with me like a normal person. I might think that's success. But me, 100 years from now, where that's totally normal, that's not successful to me anymore.
Okay, arguing to that point, we still think that the first light bulb was a success, even though 100 years down the line it is normal.
But
it's an achieved success. We have to find something else now. Make the light bulb better.
Oh yeah.
It's always stepping
so
up.
Goalposts will always change, but idea of success usually stays the same within our framework. For example, light bulb was a technological innovation, and then now, computer was another one, and then now AI will be when it's fully matured. How do you stay? So another point was we were talking about corporate social responsibility, that ESG thing also, environmental social governance. What do you guys think about that trend now, where companies are also seeing that their success depends on being diverse and inclusive, being conscious of the environment, being conscious of social problems?
I mean, that's perfect. This is exactly what we want to see. We don't want to see fully, massive companies with we're evil and we're just doing it for profit. I like how the fact that they're
Reddit has Reddit has a subreddit of evil buildings.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the fact that they're able to connect with the communities, right? If you can connect with the community, if you can understand, what they want, what they need, and understand your role, your larger impact in the environment, then more than just just making money. And goal of any business is to make money, but beyond that, you exist in this environment. You have more than just making money as an impact.
Yeah, I think the well-roundedness of a company is important for success. So if you have a tunnel vision company, you're making a product, but you're not paying attention to the effects of your production or just anything on it or any other factors, you're not successful. But if you're looking at everything that your company is affecting, if you're including diversity, blah, 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 environmental stuff, then together as a whole package, you're a successful company in every aspect.
I wanted to add something really quickly, because I was talking about this with my brother recently, but really cool field of business ethics. I just think it's extremely cool to think about how it's evolving now.
Yeah.
Because that's a very social aspect of business, right? It's dealing with the social implications
and moral implications.
Yeah, and moral implications of what a company does, right? And there are people who specialize in how a company can fit into, the larger whole. And I just think that that's a perfect example of a socially aware company.
Yeah,
and
it's
exactly what
progression in the meaning of success.
Yeah, like, I think like if you're like doing a startup, like yeah, even if you can't hire like a business ethicist, you should still be thinking in that mindset. You should think, beyond, what you're currently doing to like how it can be really affecting the world around you.
So to end off, how should we be conscious of this sort of new meaning of success? How should we be conscious of how we view success and not forget this? What to prevent, maybe going backwards, forgetting about this corporate social governance when it becomes not relevant anymore. What are ways in society that we can be conscious of how we view success today? How do we keep the momentum going? Do we just be talking about it on social media?
We keep evolving, right? It doesn't really matter what that definition of success is, as long as it keeps adapting to the modern world.
As long as we keep progressing forward?
Yeah, as long as we keep progressing forward and changing that definition of success based on what the world's conditions are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I agree with what he's saying. It's because, like, as we move forward, a lot of, like, our world around us is going to change. So we have to make sure that what we're doing goes with the evolving changes. And ultimately that's going to lead to our success, is how well can we function in these changes? How well can we help the world? Just like moving forward. Like you said, the progression of it.
Yeah.
I think in general it's going to be important going forward to pay attention to not only social media, but just like in general what the community is saying, because as we're talking about
like humans in the real world.
just what people are saying in general, because you have to be aware that when it's coming out right from humans, you have to understand that their definition of success, it's all individual, but then you can kind of fix that together as a full and then guide your company in that direction.
Yeah.
And that's constantly evolving, as we were saying before. And in general, that's just what you gotta look out for.
And another thing with like the whole moving forward idea is you have to keep in mind your past, right? Where you started, and just history in general. Because
never forget your roots.
Exactly, because a lot of the problems now is people, like, especially in government or whatever, like, a lot of history is neglected. A lot of things that we tried to do in the past and we saw that it didn't work is neglected. So we just end up going into this circle where we just keep doing the same things even though it didn't work. So, like, we have to just keep in mind that, like, what was done in the past and what we can do now to better that, or just basically know your history, I think is important.
Don't repeat history.
Exactly. Repeating history is very bad.
With that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
You're fine. Can I move it? Not a podcast aficionado.
Not Nardo.
Hey,
it's Italian.
That's why I thought it was Nardo. Like Leonardo.
Oh my god. Bro, we should be recording all of this stuff.
Yeah, we should be recording.